Oh my God, how well I
My
understand
knees.
you. The painful sensations in the knees
I
do
can
not let
barely
you
stand
rest.
the
Each
pain.
step on the stairs feels like a real trial, as if a rusty nail is being driven into the joint. Even the weather intensifies these torments to the point where one sometimes just wants to run away, ready to pay any amount for a moment of relief. Enough of enduring this. Pharmacists and doctors will gladly offer you a new tube of expensive ointment that only temporarily alleviates symptoms. It creates an illusion of warmth or cold on the skin, but does not touch the true cause of your pain hidden deep inside. Today, I want to introduce you to an ancient, almost forgotten recipe passed from one village healer to another until it was displaced by modern medicine. This is not just an ointment, believe me. It is a living compress that can draw out pain and inflammation from the very center of the joint, from the bone tissue. I ask you, for the sake of your loved ones, watch this video until the end without skipping any details, and I will tell you how to prepare this inexpensive yet incredibly effective remedy that will restore your health and free you from the torment that has accompanied you for many years. Why is this compress called Alive? Because it contains not a drop of synthetic substances, only the primal force of nature itself. My great-grandmother used this recipe in the village to treat various joint issues, from arthritis and gout to bruises and strains. She always said that true healing comes from nature. One just needs to know how to apply it correctly. They say that illness should not be suppressed but brought to the surface. Remember this. Medicinal gels create a protective film on the skin, under which the joint continues to deteriorate. Their action is deceptive and short-lived. Our compressor works completely differently. It is like a powerful natural magnet that pulls the illness from within. It absorbs salts, toxins, and excess fluid. You will feel the cleansing effect when you see how the clay changes after the procedure. It darkens and becomes heavy, absorbing everything that destroys the joint from within. Let's see what amazing yet very simple ingredients our remedy consists of. No need to search for unicorn horns or griffin tears. Everything you need can be found in any pharmacy or store, and it won't cost you much. The first important component is clay, but not just any clay. It's better to use blue, or, at worst, green cosmetic clay. Many mistakenly believe that clay is just dirt for the face, but this is a huge misconception. Clay, which costs less than a loaf of bread, is a powerful, natural sorbent. It has a negative charge, while toxins and inflammatory products in the body have a positive charge. What happens when they meet? Correct, they attract each other. Clay penetrates the pores of the skin and, like a sponge, absorbs toxins, cleansing not only the surface but also deeper layers of tissue. One should avoid using white or red clay, as they are intended for other purposes. We need the one that contains a lot of silicon and silver, natural antiseptics, and building elements for connective tissues. This clay will be the basis of our living compress. Before we continue, I would be interested to know from which countries you are watching us. Please share where you are from in the comments. Let's exchange useful information, sending you strong hugs wherever you are, and sincerely wishing you all the best. I read each of your feedback and try to respond personally, providing specific recommendations for your situation. Your comments inspire me to create more useful content that helps maintain health and improve quality of life. The next component is salt. It is important to pay special attention here. The main mistake that 9 out of 10 people make is using fine table salt. Forget about it. It is a dead product, chemically refined, with nothing useful left in it. We need live, coarse sea or rock salt, preserving the power of ancient seas and the energy of the earth. In our compress, salt acts as a pump, creating powerful pressure and literally expelling excess joint fluid that occurs during inflammation. This excess fluid presses on the nerve endings and causes a dull, throbbing pain. By reducing the swelling, salt instantly lowers the pressure inside the joint, providing almost immediate relief. It is the muscle of our compress, its pull. And finally, the third element. If clay is the body of the compress and salt its muscles, then herbs represent the soul and mind. They give the compress specific healing properties. We will need a collection of 3 simple, yet incredibly effective herbs. The first is chamomile. Everyone knows it as a calming remedy, but its main strength lies in its ability to suppress inflammation. It acts like natural aspirin, but without the unpleasant side effects. The second plant is St. John's wort. Many call it the herb for 100 ailments, and for good reason. St. John's wort has a natural pain-relieving effect. It blocks the transmission of pain signals, disorienting pain receptors, and providing long-awaited relief. The third medicinal plant is nettle. Although it is stinging, its benefits are immense. Nettle improves local blood circulation, accelerating blood flow to the damaged area, which brings oxygen and nutrients to the joints, restoring cartilage, and removing harmful substances from the body. There is no need to run through forests and fields. All these herbs can easily be found in any pharmacy, both in packages and loose at affordable prices. Combined, these three plants create a powerful synergistic effect, significantly enhancing the action of clay and salt. When all the components of our natural pharmacy are gathered, we can proceed to the main sacred ritual, creating a living compress. Approach this process with complete seriousness and do not rush. Much of the success depends on this stage. First of all, we need to prepare the living water, our herbal elixir. We take 1 tablespoon each of chamomile, St. John's wort, and nettle. If the herbs are packaged in bags, we use 2 bags of each type. We place all this in a glass jar or ceramic bowl and pour in a cup of boiling water. It is important that this is not just hot water from the tap, but freshly boiled water that has stopped boiling vigorously. This is necessary for the water to break down the plant cell membranes and become enriched with all the beneficial substances. The plants give their healing power to the water. Immediately cover the container with a lid or saucer. This is a very important moment. If this is not done, the valuable essential oils will evaporate with the steam, and our brew will lose a significant part of its potency. Let the infusion steep for at least 20, preferably 30 minutes. In this time, the water will cool to the desired temperature. It should be pleasantly warm, but not scalding, so that the drink absorbs the full power of the herbs. While our brew gathers its strength, let's prepare the base. Note and remember this rule forever. Never use metal dishes or spoons when working with clay. Metal reacts chemically with clay ions, oxidizing them and turning the active mineral into a useless mass. All healing properties will be lost before you apply it to the joint. Use only glass, ceramic, and as a last resort, plastic dishes, and mix with a wooden spoon or spatula. This is a strict condition, so let's take our non-metallic container. We pour 3 full tablespoons of blue clay. If the joint is large, such as the knee, we add 4 full tablespoons. Then we add 1 tablespoon of coarse natural salt. Using a wooden spoon, we carefully mix these components in dry form. We need the salt crystals to be evenly distributed throughout the clay powder. Now it's time for the most important stage, bringing our compress to life. The herbal infusion has steeped, giving its color, aroma, and strength to the water. Take a fine sieve and strain the infusion directly into a bowl with clay and salt. However, do not pour all the liquid at once. This is a common mistake of beginners. If too much liquid is added, it will result in a useless mass. We start to gradually pour in the broth, literally 1 tablespoon at a time, while actively mixing. You'll notice how the clay struggles to absorb the water and resists. Keep stirring and adding broth until you achieve a uniform plastic mixture. What consistency are we aiming for? Remember the standard. The mixture should resemble thick, homemade sour cream, where a spoon can stand upright, or well-kneaded dough for modeling clay. The mass should be soft enough for easy application on the skin, yet dense enough not to run or spread. When you lift the mixture with a spoon, it should hold its shape and not drip. Notice the perfect consistency, smooth, homogeneous, without lumps. Feel it with your fingers. It is fresh, cool, and slightly oily. Our living compress is ready, filled with the energy of the earth, ancient sea, and healing herbs. Now it is prepared to transfer its power to you and, in exchange, take away your pain. Now I will tell you how to properly use the compress, for this process has its secrets known only to experienced healers. Attention! The most important stage is approaching, which determines the effectiveness of the compress. Incorrect application can nullify all our efforts, so listen carefully and remember each step. Never apply a compress to dirty skin. Before starting the procedure, thoroughly wash the affected joint with warm water and soap. Then gently dry it with a towel. The skin must be clean and dry. Now take the healing clay mixture. Do not be stingy with it. Apply a thick and abundant layer to the painful joint, about 1 centimeter thick, or better yet, 1.5 centimeters, as if spreading a generous layer of butter on bread. The layer should be even and completely cover the entire painful and swollen area around the joint. Here is the first secret. Under no circumstances should you rub clay into the skin. This is not a cream. Our goal is to create a healing cake that will work as a whole, like a suction cup. Just gently apply and smooth it out with a wooden spatula or hand. What to do next? You need to properly isolate the compress. If left in the air, the clay will dry in just 15 minutes, cracks will appear, and its healing properties will disappear. It is important that the compress remains moist and active for as long as possible. Therefore, immediately after applying the layer of clay, cover it with natural fabric. A piece of old cotton sheet or linen napkin will do. Avoid synthetic materials as they do not allow air to pass and create a greenhouse effect, which we definitely do not need. The fabric should be slightly larger than the compress itself. Carefully place it and gently press it so that it fits snugly against the clay. The next step is insulation. Its goal is to prevent moisture from evaporating from the clay and to preserve its properties. In the past, villages used a large leaf of cabbage or burdock for this. This is indeed a great remedy because such leaves have anti-inflammatory effects. But if you don't have them, it's no problem. You can use regular baking paper. Plastic wrap should not be used. This is a serious mistake. The film completely blocks air access, causing the skin under the compress to become damp, leading to irritation instead of a healing effect. Baking paper allows the skin to breathe a little while, retaining moisture inside the compress. We lay paper over the fabric, then add a final layer. Insulation. It is important to create deep and even warming heat for the joint, which helps relax the muscles, opens the pores, and facilitates the penetration of healing substances into the tissues. An old wool scarf, shawl, or simply a piece of wool fabric is perfect as insulation. Wrap the joint with all the layers and secure the bandage. It shouldn't be too tight to avoid disrupting circulation, but it also shouldn't be too loose. The compress should fit snugly and remain comfortable. Our compress is applied with ancient knowledge in mind. Now let's move on to the duration. It is recommended to keep the compress on the body for 1 to 2 hours. There is no point in leaving it overnight, as it is not only useless, but can also cause harm. The main thing is to focus on your feelings. You should feel a pleasant, deep, and comfortable warmth. It is not a burning sensation, but a soft, penetrating warmth that indicates the compress is working. Blood is flowing to the affected area, and the clay begins to act, alleviating pain and inflammation. After about an hour and a half, you may notice that the clay under the bandage has started to dry and tighten. This is a signal that it's time to finish the procedure. The compress has already given up all its beneficial properties and absorbed the maximum amount of toxins. It's unwise to leave it any longer. Carefully remove all the layers, and you will see that the clay has changed color and darkened. Rinse off the remnants with warm water without soap, and gently dry the skin with a towel. Then wrap the joint with a warm scarf for half an hour to let it rest. You will feel relief after the first procedure. To ensure lasting results, a course is necessary. Apply such a compress once a day, preferably in the evening before bed, for 7 days. If the condition is more serious, the course can be extended to 10 consecutive days. You will be interested to see how much the pain decreases and your well-being improves. 6 months ago, I thought about my health. I thought, as you age, if you don't pay attention, you start to notice that some parts of your body function with effort, and the ease of movement gradually fades. My overall condition is far from what it was at 40. Blood pressure became unstable, sleep was intermittent, and joints reminded of themselves with every step. Of course, this is not an illness, but a natural stage of life. However, one wants not just to live without special problems, but to feel calm, comfortable, and think clearly. I became more attentive to my food choices, avoiding extremes, trendy diets, and dubious additives. I sought ways to nourish my body gently and healthily, and unexpectedly discovered a simple and amazing remedy. Seeds. We are all familiar with seeds that are added to baked goods or salads. Some enjoy the crunch of seeds outdoors, while others try sesame, sprinkling it on bread. Many suspect the immense power hidden in these tiny grains. Each seed is a source of life, containing everything necessary for the growth of a full-fledged plant. Therefore, seeds are rich in essential substances, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, and essential fatty acids. All of this is easily absorbed by our body. I gradually started to introduce different seeds into my diet and noticed how my body began to receive the necessary support, not in large portions at once, but gradually and regularly. I simply observed the changes in my condition, and the results were astonishing. The digestion process became more efficient, nighttime rest improved, and the mood noticeably stabilized. Today, I want to talk about which seeds turned out to be especially beneficial, why they work that way, and how to easily and correctly incorporate them into everyday nutrition without unnecessary complications. I will share only what truly benefits and supports the body. Let's start with sesame. It's not just an addition to baking. Humanity has been using this product for over 5,000 years. In ancient India and Egypt, it was grown not only for food, but also for medicinal purposes and religious rituals. An interesting fact: sesame oil is mentioned in ancient Babylonian beauty recipes called jonrei, believed to help maintain youth and skin elasticity. In China, sesame was a symbol of longevity and was valued as much as women. But what is important for us today? The main thing is that sesame is an excellent source of potassium, which positively affects the body. Just 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds contains as much potassium as a whole glass of milk. This is especially relevant for the elderly, as bones become more fragile with age and joints begin to ache. I noticed that after a month of regularly consuming sesame, the crunching in my knees significantly decreased. Getting up in the morning became much easier, and my legs stopped tiring so quickly. Of course, I continue to stay active and walk about 40 minutes every day. Nutrition is not the only condition for health, but adding sesame clearly improved my well-being. Besides calcium, sesame is rich in magnesium. This mineral helps cope with stress and improves sleep quality. I started falling asleep faster, and my nighttime rest became calmer, with anxious awakenings disappearing. I am sure that people my age understand how important a strong sleep is. Another necessary mineral in sesame is copper, which aids in collagen synthesis, positively affecting the condition of skin and joints. Copper also helps reduce inflammatory processes in the body. So if you have pain in your fingers or hear clicks in your joints, sesame can significantly alleviate your condition. You are probably wondering how to properly consume sesame seeds. In fact, it's quite simple. I tried different methods and found that the best option is to sprinkle seeds on morning porridge. They can also be added to salads and soups to give dishes a light, subtle, nutty flavor. For variety, you can grind seeds in a coffee grinder and use them to sprinkle on cottage cheese or casseroles. There is also sesame oil, but it should be used carefully as it is high in calories. Can sesame be fried? It's better to avoid this, as frying destroys most nutrients. To enhance the aroma, it's enough to lightly heat the seeds in a dry pan for just 1 minute. As for contraindications, they exist, although they are rare. For example, if you have a predisposition to kidney stone formation, sesame should be consumed with caution. It is rich in calcium and can contribute to kidney stone formation under certain conditions. Therefore, it is important not to exceed the norm. 1 to 2 teaspoons a day will be quite enough. There are 2 main types of sesame: white and black. Black sesame is not just roasted white sesame, as many believe, but a distinct variety with a richer chemical composition. Although its seeds are slightly denser, I prefer to alternate them to diversify the taste and increase health benefits. Now let's talk about sunflower seeds. It's hard to imagine what new can be said about the seeds we have been cracking since childhood and continue to do every time we reach for a pack on the table. But behind this familiar simplicity lies a true gift of nature. Sunflower seeds are one of the richest sources of vitamin E, which helps maintain skin elasticity and protects vision. These seeds strengthen blood vessels and positively affect heart function. In addition, vitamin E is considered one of the key substances that slow down the aging process, as it destroys harmful particles in the body known as free radicals, which damage cells and contribute to internal aging. Therefore, I regularly include seeds in my diet. Interestingly, 100 grams of these seeds fully cover an adult's daily requirement for vitamin E, in a form that is well absorbed, which is especially important with age. But the beneficial properties of the seeds do not end there. Sunflower seeds are also a source of selenium, necessary for normal metabolism. Magnesium supports the immune system and protects cells from damage, as well as promoting vasodilation and lowering blood pressure. Zinc affects hormonal balance, especially in men, and improves the condition of skin, hair, and nails. Phosphorus combined with copper helps restore tissues and speeds up metabolism. I noticed that I became more resilient to changes in the weather. In the past, I often felt heaviness in my head during pressure fluctuations. Now, I no longer experience sharp manifestations. I can't say if it's coincidental, but I've noticed that my diet has become significantly more balanced. How do I use seeds? I find it easier to use peeled ones. I add them to porridge and cottage cheese, sprinkle them on casseroles, and put them in homemade bread. One of my favorite recipes is a mix of various seeds, spoons of honey, and a few walnuts. In the morning, I eat a spoonful of this mixture, and it fills me with energy. It is delicious, hearty, and completely devoid of cravings for sweet, unhealthy products. If you want something special, you can grind seeds in a blender with a small portion of olive oil and a pinch of salt. As a result, you will get a paste resembling peanut butter, but much healthier and without added sugar. It is important to remember that during frying, seeds lose many beneficial properties, particularly vitamin E, leaving mostly just fat. Frequent salt addition can cause water retention and swelling. Raw seeds are a complete food, while roasted ones can be considered a treat, so they should be chosen with caution. The main limitation is their high calorie content. 100 grams of seeds contain about 600 kilocalories, which is almost a third of the daily energy norm, so they should not be consumed in large doses. A small handful weighs about 30 grams, and this is quite enough to gain benefits. Moreover, sunflower seeds can improve mood. They contain tryptophan, an amino acid from which the body produces serotonin, known as the happiness hormone. Perhaps that's why we love to crack them while watching movies or during walks. This is not accidental. It calms and provides the body with essential substances. Now about something unusual. I never suspected that grape seeds could be beneficial. Usually when eating grapes, one wants to quickly get rid of the seeds, especially if their teeth are not in the best condition. However, it is in these small seeds that one of nature's most powerful defenses, antioxidants, is found. They are known for their ability to support health and reduce inflammation, making grape seeds a true treasure of nature. Among them are proanthocyanidins, substances that are many times more powerful than vitamins C and E and can protect cells from damage. It is known that cell destruction plays a key role in aging and the development of many chronic diseases. Grape seeds positively affect blood vessels, increasing their elasticity, reducing capillary fragility, and improving circulation. If you notice swelling in your legs, a feeling of heaviness in your calves, or the appearance of spider veins on your skin, your vessels may need support. Grape seeds can help improve memory, normalize blood pressure, and protect vision. An interesting fact: in Mediterranean countries, where grapes and products made from them, including oil from seeds, are commonly consumed, people face cardiovascular diseases much less often. This can be explained by the unique protective properties of grape seeds. How to use them? There are several options. The first is to buy grapeseed powder, which can be found in pharmacies and health food stores. Usually, I take half a teaspoon a day, adding it to yogurt or kefir. This powder is also great for porridge if you don't mind a slight sourness. The second method is to use oil extracted from grape seeds by cold pressing. This oil is not only rich in powerful antioxidants, but also contains beneficial fatty acids. It is important to use it in cold dishes, such as salads, or simply take a spoonful on an empty stomach. Don't forget to check the contraindications. At low pressure and with the use of blood-thinning medications, such as aspirin, it is essential to consult a doctor, as grape seeds can also thin the blood a little. Now let's move on to another product that is often overlooked, but for no good reason. One of the most useful and versatile are flax seeds. They contain alpha-linolenic acid, a plant source of omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are essential for the normal functioning of the heart, brain, vascular system, and joints. If you rarely eat fatty fish or cannot tolerate its fat, flax seeds can be a great alternative. They are high in fiber, especially soluble fiber. When soaking, the seeds release mucus that coats the walls of the stomach and intestines, reducing inflammation and aiding digestion. I noticed improvements within just a few days. The heaviness after eating disappeared, the discomfort in my stomach vanished, and I started visiting the bathroom regularly without issues. There's an interesting fact. Since ancient times, slime from flax seeds has been used in folk medicine for gastritis, ulcers, and other digestive tract diseases. It has a mild effect and is a natural remedy that soothes the digestive system. In addition, flax seeds contain plant lignans, natural substances that help regulate hormonal balance. They are especially beneficial for women during menopause and men with low testosterone levels. How should this product be consumed? The most useful way is to consume seeds in a ground form. I grind a small amount in a coffee grinder and add this flour to porridge, kefir, or sometimes to soup. There is another way: to pour boiling water over the seeds to obtain a gelatinous mass that can be drunk, or to eat a teaspoon of seeds with water in the mornings. The optimal dose is 1 to 2 tablespoons a day, which is quite enough to maintain health. There are not many contraindications, but if you have a tendency to bloating or gas, you should start with small portions and remember to drink plenty of fluids. Fiber will only be effective with sufficient fluid intake. Otherwise, it may have the opposite effect. The next product is pumpkin seeds, familiar to many since childhood. Many years ago, during family dinners, we often cracked them, although few realized their significant benefits. These seeds are particularly beneficial for men, but women also gain considerable support from them. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, which promotes hormone production, strengthens the immune system, improves skin condition, and accelerates tissue recovery. They also contain a lot of magnesium, which supports heart health, iron necessary for blood, phosphorus, and omega-3 fatty acids. This nutritional complex becomes especially important with age, when metabolism slows down and replenishing deficiencies becomes more difficult. In folk medicine, pumpkin seeds are used as a natural remedy against parasites due to the presence of cucurbitagon, a natural amino acid that paralyzes worms and aids in cleansing the intestines. In addition, the fiber from the seeds gently stimulates intestinal activity, which is especially beneficial for constipation. The mucilage of the seeds resembles flax but is denser, which helps improve intestinal peristalsis. How should they be consumed? It is enough to take a handful of peeled seeds, which can be added to porridge, mixed with dried fruits, or included in salads. It is important to avoid roasted seeds, as high temperatures destroy all beneficial properties. It is best to consume seeds raw or lightly roasted in a dry pan. Sometimes I prepare mixtures of pumpkin seeds, a small amount of walnuts, and a spoonful of honey, and I also add sunflower seeds. It turns into a delicious and healthy paste. However, do not forget about contraindications and consider individual characteristics of the body. During exacerbations of gastritis or ulcers, it is better to limit the consumption of seeds, as they can irritate the mucosa, especially on an empty stomach. In other cases, this product is absolutely safe. Now let's move on to the next item. When the word poppy is heard, a bun or pie immediately comes to mind. Poppy is perceived as just a tasty ingredient, but it is often not regarded as a beneficial standalone product, only as an addition to baked goods. This is a misconception, as poppy is a real treasure trove of minerals. It is especially rich in calcium and ranks almost at the top among foods for this element. 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds almost completely covers the daily calcium requirement for an adult, which is 2 to 3 times more than the amount of calcium in milk or cottage cheese. With the years, proper nutrition and care become especially important for bone and joint health, osteoporosis prevention, as well as for strong teeth and normal heart and muscle function. I noticed that when I started adding poppy seeds to my food more often, like sprinkling them on porridge or cottage cheese, my nails became much stronger, and in the morning I felt less stiffness in my joints. This may seem random, or perhaps my body finally got what it had long been missing. In addition to calcium, magnesium plays an important role in the functioning of the nervous system and helps improve sleep. Iron is necessary for maintaining blood and energy, zinc is important for immunity and tissue recovery, and phosphorus is beneficial for the brain and metabolic processes. An interesting fact: previously, a poppy drink was prepared for children to help them fall asleep. However, it also benefits adults, especially with increased nervousness, anxiety, and sleep problems. Poppy is also rich in vegetable oils containing beneficial fatty acids that positively affect vascular health and heart function. How can poppy be used? The simplest way is to sprinkle poppy seeds on porridge or casserole, or add them to cottage cheese or smoothies. They can be mixed with honey to create a delicious and healthy paste. The main thing is not to overdo it with the amount, as poppy seeds are high in calories. I prefer to buy processed food-grade poppy seeds ready for use, rather than raw ones from the market. I grind them in a coffee grinder and store them in a jar. Every morning I add a teaspoon to my food, and sometimes to my drink before bed. This simple ritual helps me maintain my health and well-being. A tablespoon of poppy seeds washed down with warm water and honey helps me sleep better. Are there any restrictions on its use? Of course, poppy can cause drowsiness, especially if consumed in large quantities, so exceeding the dose is undesirable. It is not recommended for use with low blood pressure, as it may drop even further. It is also important to use food-grade poppy seeds without fats, rather than technical or pharmaceutical ones. Now a bit about its history. The small dark seeds came to us from Latin America, where they were used by the Maya and Aztec tribes. In the Maya language, the word chi means strength. This name is not accidental. It reflects the true value of these seeds. Indeed, the seeds contain many beneficial substances. Their main advantage is the plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid. Omega-3 nourishes the brain, cardiovascular system, and heart, reducing inflammatory processes, improving circulation, and supporting nervous system health. The need for these substances increases with age. In addition to omega-3, the seeds contain soluble fiber, which forms a gel in the intestines, aiding in detoxification and creating a feeling of fullness. In addition, seeds contain magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus, essential for the functioning of the heart, bones, and nervous system, as well as many antioxidants that slow down cell aging. An interesting fact: seeds can absorb water, increasing in volume by about 10 to 12 times. This allows them to turn into a soft gel-like mass in the stomach, improving digestion and helping with intestinal disorders. I started adding tea seeds to my morning diet, beginning with 1 or 2 teaspoons. I soak them in water or kefir for 15 to 20 minutes to swell, after which I drink them. Sometimes I add seeds to oatmeal. The results exceeded all my expectations. My bowel function normalized, my stomach felt lighter, and my skin became much less dry in winter. In addition, tea seeds help maintain stable blood sugar levels, which is especially beneficial for people prone to diabetes or experiencing sharp fluctuations in sugar after meals. How should tea seeds be properly consumed? Start with 1 teaspoon a day and gradually increase the dose to 1 or 2 tablespoons. It is important to always drink water with them, as dry seeds can dehydrate the body. A good way is to infuse the mixture with milk or kefir. Add some honey and a few berries. Leave it overnight, and in the morning, a nutritious breakfast awaits you. Contraindications are quite rare, but if you have low blood pressure, a tendency to bloating, or increased intestinal sensitivity, it is recommended to start with minimal doses and drink plenty of water. When I first included tea seeds in my diet, I was skeptical. I thought that just 1 or 2 spoons of seeds couldn't make a difference. However, over time I realized that it is precisely in such small but regular actions that the true path to good health lies. Seeds are not a medicinal remedy, but they are natural helpers that can be safely used every day to maintain overall well-being without much effort and the need to go to a pharmacy. Have you ever wondered why? Despite following a diet and regular workouts, the feeling of heaviness and bloating never leaves you. It seems that with age, the digestive process slows down, as if some invisible barrier prevents the body from functioning normally. What if I told you that up to 2 kilograms of waste can accumulate in your intestines every day, releasing toxic substances? Even if you don't notice it, stay with us, as soon I will tell you about a completely natural, simple, and very effective cleansing method that will rid you of accumulated toxins in just 5 nights. And believe me, by about the 3rd or 4th day, feeling the changes, you will understand why this process is often called gut renewal. If you are over 50 and want to strengthen your health from within, my advice may be the very solution you have been looking for. I will start with an amazing fact. Digestive specialists claim that about 70% of people over 50 have up to 2 kilograms of accumulated waste in their intestines. This is indeed true. A whole layer of pollutants firmly adheres to the inner walls and constantly emits toxic substances. You might think, but I eat right and avoid harmful food. How can this be? I used to hold a similar opinion until I encountered this ancient and proven method. The good news is that it is quite possible to get rid of this harmful coating. This can be done gently, safely, and in an entirely natural way. The main advantage is that results will be visible in just a few days without the use of expensive medications, chemical treatments, or exotic diets. You will only need ordinary products that are likely already in your kitchen. And don't think that the changes will only be noticeable when you visit the bathroom. As soon as you start following this new habit, you will feel real changes. The bloating will go away, you will feel a surge of energy, and your mood will significantly improve. It's an amazing feeling when you wake up and realize that your body has finally started to function in harmony, like after a long exhale. Want to know why this happens? Then stay with me. Let's go back a bit and find out how the accumulation of residues in our body begins. The length of the intestine is about 7 meters. It consists of many bends, turns, and hard-to-reach areas. Over time, undigested food remnants accumulate in these hidden places, like dirt collecting in the bends of a pipe. Gradually, a coating forms, a dense layer of deposits that the body cannot eliminate through normal digestion. This is where the problem lies. This raid begins to disintegrate, releasing toxins that penetrate the blood and spread throughout the body, negatively affecting energy levels, emotional state, and the immune system. That is why many people, despite proper nutrition and regular exercise, continue to feel weakness, bloating, and fatigue. It resembles the attempt to grow flowers in infected soil. nothing thrives or develops properly. After 50 years, the situation worsens as the body begins to produce fewer necessary substances. A decrease in digestive enzyme activity and weakened intestinal muscles slow down the digestion process. As a result, what has already accumulated in the body stays in place, while fresh products that come in are significantly harder to eliminate. It is not surprising that many people in middle age face unpleasant issues such as constipation, bloating, and a constant feeling of heaviness in the stomach. However, there is good news. This situation can be changed, and I will tell you how to do it. Age is not always the sole reason for such problems. Often, accumulated waste in the intestine